Good morning. Today is July 27th, 2025, and I'm gonna talk about a variety of things, including probabilities, mental health, and how you change your emotional sort of mind into thinking on something more productive. There's actually some science about that, which I mentioned in my doctoral thesis, really. So first and foremost, I'm here. I'm doing my part of my Big 5 for health. I'm half naked, of course, barefoot for grounding. I'm in the kind of nature which is enough. This is like a bedrock very close to where I live. There's some trees, and as you can see, this beautiful view. This is actually a bay of the Baltic Sea. You see some ships here and stuff like that. The only thing I haven't eaten yet, because I do this kind of intermittent fasting called time restricted eating. There is a difference, actually. So fasting is more long term, intermittent fasting, whereas time restricted eating is short term. And because I'm a lazy guy or something like that, and I'm a believer in that we can't go 100% on a diet or do anything else at 100% due to all the social factors at play. But like in goal setting, it's not reaching the target which is the most important. It's to get off your current state and move towards the target. I try to explain this a million times for people. So anyway, so what about the probability and changing our mind and emotions and stuff like that? So I revisited an article I wrote years ago about giraffes jumping on springboards down into a pool of water. And what's so odd about that? Well, we understand that this is not for real, okay? Still, we get curious and we want to look into this story, and it's beautifully animated. I think it's a French company, and I'm gonna link the article in the commentary section. Now, part of the article deals with emotions and surprise, and emotions and surprise are crucial, actually, because a lot of the questions I have gotten during the more than 100 hours of live broadcasting I have done has to do with mood disorders, different diagnoses and stuff like that. And the question, a typical question has been, what is the best way, blah blah blah. And of course there's no best way, and I don't believe that if you have a disorder or something like that, you will be able to return to where you were before the disorder. But what you probably can do is to put the disorder into remission, put it into standby, meaning as long as you uphold a healthy lifestyle, everything's gonna be alright. So, and putting disorders into remission means you're gonna be functional. I mean, that's the target. Now, what's with the probabilities thing? That, well, according to the Brain Foundation here in Finland, 50% of all women and 30% of all men here in Finland above the age of 45 will contract. They predict that they will predict a serious brain disease, and they mean Alzheimer's and dementia. That's when you start to forget things, and you become afraid, and you die alone. It's horrible. And no one believed me when I was talking about this. But more recently, my former employer at the University of Helsingfors communicated a report stating that 77% of the women here in Finland and 70% of the men will be diagnosed with psychiatric disease, psychiatric, psychological, or behavioral disorder, I think it was. I talked about this before. So what does that have to do with probability? Well, that means, based on population data, the probability of meeting a woman here in Finland with mental health issues is 77%. I'm talking about someone above the age of 18 and, and the rest of the life. And the probability of meeting a man with mental issues is 70%. That's huge. That's huge. And I have given you examples about people, some women actually in leading positions, who are aggravated, who show aggravation against me because of my expertise. It's unbelievable. But the crux is that aggression is a marker for Alzheimer. And Finland has the highest prevalence per capita of Alzheimer. So I feel sad for them. And then there was a guy last Sunday, a week ago, who went completely ballistic because I said that sugar is bad for health. And they own a candy factory. Their livelihood is dependent on sugar and stuff like that. So how do you change that? If you, of course, if you have serious issues, you visit a therapist. I say that repeatedly. Visit a therapist or the healthcare system so they can give you some guidelines. But what you also can do is my big five. It's like eat 30 micronutrients, tryptophan, choline, and animal omega-3 fatty acids. Eat together with other people, preferably with people you disagree with, because that's what business people do. They use food as a means to get along with each other. That's two. The third one is what I'm doing now. Spend time in nature or nature-like environment and get sunshine on your body. Morning sunshine is great. Elevate the corners of your mouth. It's sending a signal back to your limbic system that you like what you experience, basically. And dance. I'm not going to do this here because I'm too shy. Being half naked on video is one thing. Dancing is a completely different story. But I basically do that every day. But how do you change your negative mode? Well, here we go. Surprise. So I was surprised by the aggravated guy, and that triggered some thinking. I wasn't scared of him, but even though he tried to punch me in the face, but he was, had he hit me, that would have been scary. But you find a way to experience surprise, because Sylvan Tompkins claims that it's a cleansing experience, sort of neutralizing your emotional state and allow your attention to be reactivated, and then you can apply goal setting. I can of course help you with all of this. And a study which I included in my doctorate thesis show when you experience surprise, there's a dopamine it starts a dopamine communication between On the one hand, the hippocampi, this is the places in the brain which helps you store information, factual information. So hippocampi on the one hand, and ventral tegmental area and substantia nigra in the reward system. And when these two instances cooperate, you want to explore stuff. That's cognition. So, let's talk about this. I'm going to be live this evening, 6 p.m. local Finnish time.